The Crop Trust work to conserve the building blocks of agriculture, the crop diversity, in plant gene banks around the globe. We develop a cost-effective, rational system to conserve the material, but also to make it available to farmers and breeders and scientists. This is so fundamentally important because of the dual challenge of population growth and climate change. We need to produce more food, more nutritious food, on less land, with less water, with less fertilizer and less pesticides. This is tremendously challenging, and it's very hard to see how we can do it unless we go back to the building blocks of agriculture, to the crop diversity. We work with gene banks around the globe that have unique material important for food security. The focus up to now has been on the international gene banks because they do hold the most important collections, but we are eager to move ahead with the national level. In addition to the international gene banks and the selected national gene banks, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault is also an important part of the global system. When it comes to projects, the only projects we carry out are projects that are specifically meant to underpin this global system. So we have, for example, now an important project on crop wild relatives, where we try to broaden the gene pool because we know the crop wild relatives can have genes that are terribly important for breeding the plants we need for the future. But we are very targeted when it comes to projects, only projects to develop the global system. There can be lots of threats to a gene bank. It could be natural catastrophes like an earthquake or a flood. It could certainly also be civil war or social unrest. For these kinds of threats, it's very important to have backup systems, and we do. We insist on backups being held at a different continent and also at the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. On a day-to-day basis, however, the main challenge for the gene banks is that they don't have sufficient funding. And that's exactly why we are set up to have an endowment fund to make sure that we can keep core operations in the gene bank going. All those gene banks that are a part of the global system and then that are important for food security. The Crop Trust has a global mandate, and the first thing we actually did was to carry out a major rescue operation in 77 countries, making sure that material that was about to die was looked after. Now, as of today, we mainly work with the CG gene banks. They do hold the most important collections of the world. They distribute material also all over the world. We work on upgrading them and funding them. But the next major project that we will embark on is to identify the national collections that need to be a part of the global system. It is clearly in the self-interest of the seed sector to contribute to a global system for conservation. And although the seed sector might have a lot of material itself right now, it's pretty obvious that they will need to broaden the gene pool in the future. And the most effective way for getting that material in the future, have that available in the future, certainly is to make sure that we have a well-functioning global system to look after this genetic resource. And I would strongly encourage the seed sector to contribute to this system as soon as possible, because valuable genetic material is dying every day. And it's in no one's interest, not the least the seed sector, that this material disappears. That's a very easy question. The seed industry can contribute to the Crop Trust Endowment Fund. We are trying to raise totally $850 million US. The return from that will give us enough money to safeguard genetic resources of the most important crops for food security in a forever perspective. This is a very cheap insurance policy for the world. It's a very important basis for the seed industry to be able to keep up their business in the future. So let us join hands. This can be done.